Hello and welcome to this session. In today's session, we are going to see how to develop the search tab. Now, this search tab is part of our overall application development that we are trying to achieve, which is a complete e-commerce application. Now, this is the layout of the search tab. Now, as you can see, we have an action bar on the top, and then we have a search bar, and below the search bar, we have the search results area. So, this is nothing but a list view where we are going to display the search results. Now in the search bar, you see that there are three elements. One is the search element where the user is going to enter what the product that the user wants to buy. And then there are two buttons besides this, the search element, which is one for barcode recognition and the second one is for voice recognition. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to give the user that the user can search either by typing the item name here. User can also search by uh, clicking on this button and then scanning a barcode. And the third is the user can also search by doing a voice recognition where if you press this button and speak out what you want, that text will automatically get populated here. And based on whatever the user has entered here, we are going to refresh this list view and show the results. Now let's look at the fragment XML, what we have done here. Now this is just a relative layout and we have a view which is basically to create this background. The white background that you see here is because of this view that we have given here. And then we have a search view. Now this is the element which you see here, which is the element here, and this is where user will be able to enter the search text. And then we have two image buttons. One is for the speak button through which the user can speak and then the text gets converted into, or the voice gets converted into text. And the other image button is with respect to the barcode recognition. So we are going to come back to these because we are going to take these up in a separate session. So we'll come back to these. And then below this bar, which is here on the top, what we have defined is we have defined a list view. And this list view is going to have the list results. Now, as you understand that every list view, not only we need to define the list view, we also need to define the layout of each of the rows of the list view. So for this, we have created this second XML. Now this is the layout of each row within the list view. Now what we see here is the product image. Obviously now I have just mapped it to the same IC launcher image, but we are going to have the product image here. This is where the product name will get displayed, and this is where we will have the different the fields with respect to the product, with respect to pricing, that will be displayed here. And here we have a button through which we should be able to add this particular element to the cart. Now let's have a look at the code behind this. Again, it's a relative layout. The first thing that I've done is I have put the product image, which is this one, and next to the product image we have the product name, and below the product name we have the different parameters that you want to display for that particular product. So we can have the MRP, um, the actual price that you are going to sell it at. All those parameters you can put it here. Now it is up to you. You can change it and define it the way you want to do it. You can add or remove fields that as per your wish. And then we have a button which is the add to cart button, which if you press this, we are going to write a logic to add this particular item to the cart. So it will be visible in the next tab which we are going to develop down the line. Okay, now once these two XMLs are done, what we are going to do is we are going to go to the main part of the code, which is the search.java. Now in the previous session you would have seen that the search.java has nothing. We were just mapping the search fragment underscore search XML and just inflating that. That's it. There was nothing else. It was just a colored tab. Now here, as you can see, we have actually gone ahead and created the entire logic for the search tab. Now, before we move on, there is also a session on custom objects. Now, custom objects are going to be used extensively. So, if you have not seen the session on custom objects, I would request you to go ahead and have a look at it. It's a very small session. So, if you look at it here, this array list of type product or the data type product, this product is nothing but a custom object or a custom data type. So, this is being used extensively, and it is required that you understand that before we move ahead. Now, coming back to this, if you look at this part of the code, it will make much more sense once we go ahead. So let's just leave the initializations out. Now, to explain to you the structure of the code, what we are trying to achieve is that every time the user enters a text on the search bar, which is here, or scans a barcode, or speaks out something which gets converted into text, this particular search view will get populated with certain things. And based on what gets populated here, we are going to get results from the server. So we need to fetch the data from the server, and what we are going to do is we are going to populate those results into an array list called product results. Now this product results will keep building as per the searches done by the user, and we are not going to delete any product result. So first time if the user searches for say Kellogg's, and then he goes ahead and searches for Lux. Now the results for Kellogg's and the results for Lux will keep getting added to product results. Why we are doing that, we will understand that later on. But now the fact remains that because this product results is a cumulative set of results where everything that is searched by the user in that particular session of the application gets added, we also need another array list of the same type called filtered product results. This is what will basically filter the results based on what the user is currently searching for. So to understand this, let's take this example, the same example that the user searches for Kellogg's. So what will happen is the product results and the filtered product results will be the same. Then the user searches for Lux. So what happens is that the product results will have Kellogg's plus Lux, both the results, whereas filtered product results will have only Lux. Now the user can again go back and delete Lux and say Kellogg's again, in which case the product results will still have Kellogg's and Lux, but the filtered product results will only have Kellogg's. So this is the way that we are using to display the link, the list view. So list view adapter will use only this array list, not this. Okay. So here we have just initialized both these array lists. For the onCreate method is just as usual, we are calling the super method. Now coming to onCreate list view, here we are defining the, here we are getting the activity for the home screen. Now you remember that the home screen is the home activity which is calling this search fragment. And here we are just defining a typeface. Now the typeface is nothing but a font which we are going to use throughout the application. And the next thing is to define the view, which is my fragment view. Now here we are inflating the fragment underscore search XML, which is the one that you see here. And then we are initializing the different elements within the fragment view. So the search is the search view. Now here we have initialized the search view and we have set a query hint as start typing to search. The search results is the list view that will display the search results. The barcode button is self-explanatory and same is the audio button. So this we have already discussed. Right now it is just initialization. We have just mapped it, but we are not going to use this. But obviously in the next session, we are going to use put functionality in these buttons. Now the next method that we are going to define is search dot set on query text focus change listener. Now this is the listener which is defined for the search view. So anything that happens in the search view, this particular listener will take a note of that and call the appropriate method. Now, as you can see within this, there are multiple methods available. The first one is on focus change. Now, this gets called every time the users clicks on the search view. So if you click here, then what happens is that the keypad gets inflated from the bottom. The keypad will come here, and this will get inflated like this. So that is called on focus change, and every time I click anywhere else, so this will again collapse and the keyboard will also go back, scroll down. In that case also, this is called a focus change. So every time there is a focus change, this particular method will get called, but this we are not going to use it right now. So in this part of the code, what we're trying to do is to set up a listener for the search view. So as soon as the user enters something here, we will be able to capture this particular activity from the user, and this method, which is on query text change, will get called. So the code inside this method on query text change is going to define how the search will happen once the user has entered something in that search view. So the first thing that we are trying to do is trying to see what is the length of the particular string that has been entered by the user. So why we are doing this, let us understand. So let's assume that the user is trying to search for Kellogg's cornflakes. Now, when the user first enters K, if I do a search for K in my list of products which are available on the server, you can well imagine how many items are going to be returned, because so many items will have the single digit K. So it might take a long time to extract the details if we only do a search by K. Similarly, with KE, if the user enters and searches, then we will also be getting a lot of hits with respect to the items. So that is why we have defined that the search should start only when the user has entered at least 4 characters of the product name. So when the user enters K, by the time the user has entered K, this method will get called, but as you can see, nothing will happen because we are here checking if the length is more than 3. Okay, nothing is going to happen. Now, if it is KE, again nothing is going to happen. KEL, nothing happens. Now, when it is KELL, that is when we are going to refresh the list view to display the results. Now, to do that, we have to call this asynchronous task, which will get the data from the server and then refresh the adapter for the list view. Now you notice that there is one more thing that we are doing here, which is making the search results visible or invisible. So if you look at the screen here, what you will see is that this is your particular fragment screen. Now this list view should only be visible when there is any search results. For all the other times, this list view should not be visible. So what we are trying to do is, till the user has entered 4 characters of the product item, this list view is going to be invisible. The moment there are more than 3 characters, which is 4 or more characters, has been entered by the user, this list view with the search results will become visible, and then we are going to call this asynchronous task to basically get the data and populate the data. So this is what happens in this method called on query text change. Now let us understand this piece of code, which is calling the asynchronous task, getting the data, and then refreshing the list view. To do this, we have created a custom async task, and we are going to look at the code for the same. Now I will come back to this piece of the code because this is something which is coming down the line. So let's look at the async task first. So what I'm trying to do here is there are 3 methods. One is the on pre-execute, which is going to be executed before the do in background, and the do in background is the main method which does the activity of calling the uh, server, getting the data in the JSON array, and then populating the product details array list. And on post execute, we are going to call and refresh the list view. Now in the pre-execute, as you can see, I have just initialized the variables for handling the JSON array to get a much more detailed understanding of how this JSON array is being handled and how the data is being extracted. There is another video specifically on this. I would request you to have a look at it. This part of the code is all about initializing a progress dialog so that the user, when the search is happening, the user is not able to do anything on the screen. Now in do background, what we are doing is we are calling a website, which is my website, which I've configured. And here it is searching based on the text. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention to you is that when I'm calling this method from here within the on query text change, I'm actually passing the new text as a parameter to this async task. Now, new text is what is there on the screen which has been entered by the user. Now based on that, I'm going to get the results. So this is another function that I have created called get product list, a method. And in the get product list, what I'm doing is I'm looping for the JSON array within the JSON array and getting all the items which have been returned by the JSON array. And then here I am creating a product object, a temp called temp product, and I'm moving all the elements which have been returned by the from the server one by one into temp product. Now for each item which has been returned from the server, I'm going to create this temp product which has all the information like product code, product name, grammage, barcode, category code, subcategory code, and other details. And then what I'm checking is that I'm checking within product results if this particular temp product is already available in product results or not. Now, why we are doing this? We are doing this because product results is, as I had mentioned earlier, a accumulation of all the search results. Okay, so what happens is that, like the example that I had given earlier, if the user searches for Kellogg's, Kell, so all the products belong which matches the search result Kell is going to be returned and it is going to be saved in product results. Now the next time the user searches for let's assume that Horlicks, HORL. Now again all the matches pertaining to HORL will get populated into this product results. It will get added to the product results. So now next time if the user searches for KELLOGG, because we had already searched for KELL, KELLOGG is a subset of KELL, so obviously the results are already there in the product results. So that is why we are if we do not check whether it is already there in product results or not, if the user uses the same string to search twice, what is going to happen is the product results array will have multiple instances of the same item. To prevent that, what we are checking is if this particular product that has been returned from the server is already there in product results. If it is not there, then we are adding it to product results. If it is there, then we are doing nothing. And again, we are rotating the loop, and we are getting all the items which are there in the JSON. And for each item, we do this check and either add it to the product results or we just ignore it. And that is the work of this particular method which is being called from inside the do in background method of the async task. So once the product list has run, which is here, what happens is that the product results array has already got populated with all the product results, all the item details which had to be populated. Now the next thing which will get called is nothing but the on post execute. Now on post execute, what we are checking is if there is any error which has been identified. You notice that in the product details in the get product list method, we are also checking if there is any exception with respect to the JSON, and if there is no exception, we are returning OK. And this result of the exception is getting passed to on post execute through this variable. And here we are checking if there has been any exception caught, which is the same text as here. and if any exception has been caught, we are throwing a toast message to the user, and obviously we are dispatching the progress dialog. If there is no error which has been caught, in that case we are going ahead and executing this part of the code, and then we are dismissing the progress dialog. Now let's understand what this method is going to do, and then obviously this is quite understandable. We are calling the adapter for the search results, which is the list view to display the search details. Now let's understand what um, filter product array this method is doing. So what we are doing in this method is that we are passing the text search, which is nothing but the new text which has been entered by the user. So if the user had entered KELL, so that got passed to the async task, and that is the same text search that we are getting here. Okay, so we are passing the filter product array with the text search, and let's look at this method to see the code for the same. What it is doing is that you remember that I had prepared two array lists. One is called product results, and second one is called filtered product results. Now you remember I had mentioned that product results is a accumulation of all searches that have happened. It has all products, and filtered product results is only a filtered set of results which will be used to provide data to the list view. Now in this method, as you can see, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm just clearing out the array list, which is a filtered product results. And then what I'm doing is I am running a loop for every item which is there in product results, and checking that if that particular item is matching with or is matching the filter criteria of new text, because this is the new text which is the same text which has been passed by the user, or which has been entered by the user in the search view. So I'm just checking if this meets the filter criteria of new text, and if it does, then I'm moving the same uh, item from the product results array list to the filtered product results array list. Now why we are doing this? It's very simple, because product results has more data with respect to products. We are just filtering the pertinent products which match the search criteria, and then based on this we are going to use to populate our list view. So now I'm again going back to this on post execute method of the async task, and we were here. So this particular line once executed, the assumption is the filtered product results array has been populated. Now all that is left to do for us is to call the search results as set adapter and pass the filtered product results as an array which will be used to populate the search results. Now this is the custom adapter that we have created called search results adapter, which is an extension of the base adapter. And what we are doing here is very similar to any other base adapter class. Now here is a constructor method with which we are just initializing and mapping the local variables with what has been passed as a parameters for this particular adapter. So the product details is nothing but the list of the details of the filtered product results, and we have already created a local array list for the same, and we are just mapping these, and we have also mapped the context which has been passed as a parameter to this constructor method. And once this is done, these are the different methods which were used to populate the list view. Now get count is where we return the count. Now if you look at it, the count is nothing but the product details dot size, which is the number of elements which are there in the filtered product results. And to get an item, we are just returning product results dot get that particular index. Now coming to get view, this is where there is some substantial amount of code. So this method will get called when Android wants to display any one particular row of the list view. So the row position is what is the position variable here. So this will be a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 similar to an index. And the convert view is nothing but the view of that particular row. So we are using the same index to get the details of the product which needs to be displayed in this particular row, and we are moving that to temp product. Now once we have done that, we are checking if the convert view, which is nothing but the view which has been displayed, is null or not. Now why we are doing this, there is a reason behind it. So you have a look at it, the part of the code here. See, it is not a good idea to inflate or to do the mapping for each of the variables again and again. So as you can see here, there is an inflation. There is a need to do an inflation of the of this particular XML, okay, which is the XML for each row of the list view, and then we are also doing a mapping of each of the tags of that particular XML with the variables. Now what we are trying to do here is avoid inflating the XML again and again when each and every row is being displayed. Instead of that, what we are checking is if the convert view is null, which will be the case in for the first instance or the first time the row is being displayed. We are going to do the inflate, and then we are going to do the mapping of these variables. And then once this is done, we are actually saving this in a particular uh, view holder, which is here. This is what we have defined here. So we have defined this as a view holder, and we are, as you can see, these are all the various fields which are there in that particular XML, which is this particular XML. Okay, and this we have created a view holder, and then what we are trying to do is if the view is being initiated the first time, we are going to do this mapping, inflate the view, and then we are going to save this in this particular view holder, which is this holder. Okay, we are saving it in this particular view holder. Now next time onwards, whenever convert view does not return a null, which means that there is a previous instance available, we are just going to use this to map the holder back to the convert view, so that all this mapping which was done earlier is automatically available. So by doing this, we are avoiding inflating the XML again and again for every row that is displayed for the list view. Now, even if you do that, there is no harm. It is not going to throw any exception or anything. But it is a good practice, because if you have a lot of data, this might actually consume some amount of processing and will may cause some delay in the loading of the list up and down. Now, once this is done, uh, all that remains is that you remember that we had a temp product, which is nothing but the details of the product at that particular position, which is being displayed currently, and we are just moving those the fields one by one from temp product, and mapping it to the product name, product MRP, product value, all these things which are there in the folder, which is nothing but the view holder, and then that's it. This should be sufficient to refresh the data of the list view. So all that is left for us to do is to execute this project. I'm using an emulator to show you how it is looking on my mobile phone. So as you can see, this is the three tabs which are available: the search tab, the cart tab, and the quick order. So coming back to search, as you can see that the layout is displayed as expected. Now I can click on this magnifying glass, and the keyboard is available, and also I can enter it as a text here. I can, as a user, I can enter the text here. These two buttons right now don't have anything. There is no code available for this, so nothing is going to happen. So let's just try out the search. So let's uh, write Kellogg's. So you remember that for the first three characters, nothing is going to happen. The search is going to start only after the fourth character. So let me write K. As you can see, the list view is hidden. There is nothing here. You can, because we had used the invisible property to hide the list view. Now let me write E. Again, as you can see, nothing happens. Let me write L. Again, nothing happens. Now this is the fourth character, the next L. Now as soon as I enter this, the search should trigger. Yeah. So as you could see that the search got triggered and it gave all the search results based on KELL. Now I will just press this button to minimize the keyboard, and as you can see this is the three results which have been found for Kel. Now this is data which got pulled from the server itself. Now the icons, I have not yet mapped the product logo, the product photographs with this. So in an actual scenario, we will do that. But right now, it's just the same icon as the application icon, and the data, as you can see, has been fetched from the server, and they are different. Now at this point of time, just to bring back the same example, the product results and the filtered product results both of the same set of data, which is 3. Now the moment I again go back to the search view and I enter O, so it is going to again search the server and get all the results which match KELLO. Now in this particular case, if you look at it, the product results, because there was another search which was done for KELL, will have three items, which is KELL, KELLO, and KELLOGG. Whereas the filtered product results will only have two items, which is Kello and Kellogg's. Okay. Now, if I again write a G here, it is going to even filter it out even more and only show me this. Now I can again keep deleting the letters one by one, and as you can see that the results will keep refreshing, and the moment I remove the last L, and now that the length of this text is 3, because it is less than, we had put a condition for greater than 3. So as you can see that the list view here got invisible. If I put an L again, you will see that the list view has come back. Now let's search for something else. I will delete it altogether and I will search for Horlicks, HORL, and as you can see that the Horlicks is the result that has come based on the data from the server. Okay. Now there are a lot of ways that we can optimize it even further. So let's assume that we have done a search for HORL. Now when I write I again, it is actually going back to the server and getting the data. Now if you look at it, there is no need to do that. Why? Because see, Horlicks is nothing but a subset of HORL, right? Because it is because we are doing a search within a string match, so HORL will obviously have all the results for HORLICKS. So once we have done a search for HORL, we actually do not need to go back and search the results, search the database again. We do not need to go back to the server and get the data. We can actually filter our search within the product results itself and display it. So that way we can minimize the transactions we are doing with the server. Obviously, those optimizations you can try it out and you can reach out to me if you face any challenges. Thank you for watching this session. If you like the session, please do not forget to press the like button and do subscribe to this channel for more such similar sessions. We are going to continue on our journey to develop this app completely. So stay tuned. Thank you.